The reckoning Captain Jackson Wells stood at the edge of what used to be the Seattle skyline, ash and debris swirling in the wind around him. 6 months had passed since the day that changed everything, the day when massive alien ships had appeared, without warning in Earth's skies. 6 months since 2 billion people had perished in a single day of fire and destruction. Wells pulled down his tactical visor, scanning the horizon where crews were already clearing rubble and beginning reconstruction. Humanity had survived, but barely, and now they knew with absolute certainty they weren't alone in the universe, and that the universe was far more dangerous than anyone had ever imagined. "Captain," a voice called from behind. Major Diane Takahashi approached, her uniform still, bearing the scorch marks from the final battle 3 months ago. "The coalition is waiting." Wells nodded, taking one last look at the ruined city. "Then we shouldn't keep them waiting." The underground facility beneath the Appalachian Mountains had become Earth's new command center after most major capitals had been destroyed in the attack. The Earth Defense Coalition, 12 representatives from the remaining nations, sat around a circular table, faces grim and determined. "Captain Wells," Director Patel began as he entered, "your team has completed the analysis of the alien vessel?" Wells placed a small metallic sphere on the table. It activated automatically, projecting a hologram of swirling star maps and alien text. "Yes, Director. What we found explains everything, and nothing." He gestured to the hologram. "They call themselves the Vorex Dominion. According to their records, what happened to Earth wasn't an invasion. It was an assessment." Murmurs rippled through the room as Wells continued. "The Vorex believe that emerging technological species must be evaluated before being allowed any place in what they call the galactic hierarchy. Their method is simple: launch an unprovoked attack and see how the species responds. An assessment?" Chancellor Joe's voice was tight with barely controlled rage. 2 billion dead as an assessment?" "Yes, Chancellor. Species that surrender are subjugated. Those that fight but lose are eliminated entirely." "And those that survive?" Director Patel asked. Wells paused, looking around the room. "Those that survive are monitored, then assessed again with a larger force." The silence that followed was deafening. "How long do we have?" General Okafor asked finally. "Based on the data, approximately 7 months before they return, and when they do, the force will be 3 times larger." Director Patel stood, her hands pressed flat against the table. "Then we have 7 months to prepare. What options do we have, Captain?" Wells tapped the sphere again, changing the projection to show technical schematics from the alien vessel. "We've reverse-engineered much of their technology, their navigation systems, weapons platforms, and most importantly, their FTL drive. We've already begun construction on our own vessel using their tech, Project Vengeance." The hologram shifted, again displaying the sleek predatory lines of a massive warship unlike anything humanity had built before. "This," Wells said, "is the ESS Retribution." "You're not suggesting we try to fight them again?" one of the coalition members asked incredulously. Wells's expression hardened. "No. I'm suggesting we take the fight to them." The briefing room erupted in voices, but General Okafor silenced them with a raised hand. "Explain, Captain." "The Vorex archives contained their homeworld coordinates. They never expected anyone to survive their assessment, so they never bothered to hide this information. The Retribution can reach their homeworld in 5 months using their own FTL technology." "And what then?" Director Patel asked. "One ship against an entire civilization?" Wells's eyes gleamed with cold determination. "We won't need more than one, not with what we've developed." He activated another hologram showing a spherical device with a pulsating core. "This is the quantum displacement amplifier. It's what saved us in the final battle, though we had only a prototype then. The version we've installed on the Retribution is 1,000 times more powerful. With it, we can demonstrate to the Vorex exactly what happens when they attack Earth." Director Patel studied Wells carefully. "You're proposing a first strike?" "I'm proposing we send a message," Wells corrected. "Attack Earth again, and there won't be a Vorex Dominion anymore." The room fell silent as the implication sank in. "How many crew?" Chancellor Joe asked finally. 250. All volunteers. After hours of debate, the vote was unanimous. Project Vengeance would proceed. As Wells left the chamber, General Okafor fell into step beside him. "You know this is a one-way mission, don't you?" he said quietly. Wells didn't slow his pace. "I know the odds, sir." "And you still want command?" He stopped and turned to face the general. "My wife and daughters were in Boston when the Vorex attacked. There's nothing left for me here, but I can make sure no one else loses what I lost." The general nodded solemnly. "Then the retribution is yours, Captain." The next 4 months passed in a blur of preparation. The retribution took shape in a hidden facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, safe from any orbital observation. Engineers worked around the clock, incorporating alien technology with human innovation. The day before launch, Wells walked through the ship's corridors, inspecting every station, speaking with every crew member. They were a mix of military personnel and civilians, scientists, engineers, doctors, all united by a common purpose, all with nothing left to lose. His final stop was the bridge, where the command crew was running final diagnostics. "Status report," he called as he entered. Lieutenant Colonel Raj Sharma turned from his console. "All systems green, Captain. The quantum drive is operating at 94% efficiency, better than we hoped." Wells took his seat in the command chair, running his hand over the controls. "And the QDA?" Dr. Marcus Hernandez, the quantum physicist who had developed the weapon, looked up from his station. "Ready for deployment, though I pray we never have to use it." "The best weapons are the ones you never fire," Wells agreed. "But the Vorex need to understand the consequences of assessing us again." The launch countdown began at dawn as the massive engines powered up. Wells addressed the crew, and through them all of humanity watching the broadcast. "Today we take humanity's first steps into the stars, not as explorers but as avengers, not seeking peace but demanding it." The Vorex thought Earth would be another successful assessment, another species to evaluate and classify. They were wrong. The retribution broke through the ocean's surface with a tremendous roar, rising into the dawn sky like a sword pointed at the heavens. "They attacked Earth," Wells said, his voice carrying across every communication channel. "Now they'll receive one final warning." As the blue of Earth's atmosphere gave way to the blackness of space, Wells gave the order that would change the course of human history forever. "Engage quantum drive. Set course for the Vorex homeworld." In a flash of light that briefly outshone the sun, the retribution disappeared, carrying humanity's message to the stars. The message: 5 months of travel through the void between stars. 5 months of preparation, training, and planning. For Captain Jackson Wells, it was also 5 months of nightmares. Boston burning, his family's faces frozen in his memory. "Quantum. Drive disengaging in 3 minutes, announced Lieutenant Colonel Sharma from the navigation station. "We'll be entering the Vorex home system." Wells straightened in his command chair. "Battle stations. Activate stealth protocols." The crew moved with practiced efficiency, the tension on the bridge palpable. The Retribution's engines hummed as they transitioned from quantum space, emerging at the edge of an alien solar system. "Full sensor sweep," Wells ordered. "What are we looking at?" The main view screen filled with data as the Retribution's advanced sensors, built with reverse-engineered Vorex technology, scanned the system. 9 planets, reported Science Officer Kamala Rhodes. Heavy activity around the 3rd and 4th. Orbital structures, ships, significantly more advanced than what attacked Earth. Wells studied the display. Life signs? Billions on the 3rd planet. That must be their homeworld. And their defenses? Wells asked. Lieutenant Colonel Sharma frowned at his readings. Extensive orbital platforms, defense grids, a fleet of at least 180 vessels of varying sizes. Wells nodded, unsurprised. "We expected this. Initiate Phase 1. Let's get their attention." The Retribution silently approached one of the outer planets, a gas giant with several moons. One of these moons housed a massive mining operation, with ships constantly shuttling between it and the inner planets. Target the refinery complex, Wells ordered. Precision strike only. I want them to know we're here, but minimize casualties. The Retribution's main weapons charged, drawing power from the quantum core. A beam of concentrated energy lanced out, striking the uninhabited section of the facility. The explosion was visible from space, a bright flare against the moon's dark surface. Now we wait, Wells said. They didn't wait long. Within minutes, a squadron of Vorex vessels appeared, moving to investigate the attack. Here they come, Sharma announced. 8 ships, combat configuration. Let them get close, Wells ordered. Then disable the lead vessel. We need prisoners. The alien ships approached cautiously, scanning for the attacker. When they came within range, the Retribution decloaked for just 3 seconds, long enough to fire a precision shot at the lead vessel's propulsion system before vanishing again. Within an hour, they had captured a Vorex officer. Dr. Hernandez activated the translation matrix they had developed from the captured archives on Earth. The alien, its scaled skin a deep blue, with ridges along its elongated skull, stared at them with multifaceted eyes. Impossible, it chittered through the translator. Assessment subjects do not retaliate. They do not possess the technology. Wells stepped forward. We possess it now. Your technology, improved upon. Tell your leaders the humans have come, and we demand an audience with your Dominion Council. Alien seemed to struggle with this unprecedented situation. Finally, it transmitted a message to the fleet. Within hours, the Retribution had a heavily guarded escort to the 3rd planet, Vorex Prime. As they approached the alien homeworld, Wells addressed his crew one final time. Whatever happens next, remember why we came. Not for revenge, but for the future of Earth. The Vorex need to understand that humans are not to be tested, not to be classified, and certainly not to be underestimated. The Retribution descended through the atmosphere of Vorex Prime, landing on a massive platform in the center of what appeared to be the capital city. Through the viewports, they could see thousands of Vorex gathering, their military forming defensive positions around the landing area. Wells led a small delegation out of the ship. The alien air was breathable, though heavy with unfamiliar scents. Before them stood a delegation of Vorex, taller and adorned with elaborate markings of rank. I am Captain Jackson Wells of Earth, he announced, the translation system projecting, his words in the alien language. I come with a message for the Dominion Council. The lead Vorex, its skin a deep purple compared to the others, stepped forward. I am High Executor Nailvex. Your presence here violates all protocols. Assessment subjects do not achieve spaceflight capability for centuries after evaluation. We're full of surprises, Wells replied coldly. Take us to your council. To you. Dominion Council Chamber was a vast amphitheater with 21 elevated seats arranged in a semicircle. Each seat was occupied by a different Vorex, their skin colors and markings varying widely. 2 billion, Wells said as soon as they entered, his voice echoing through the chamber. That's how many humans died in your assessment. 2 billion. Lives ended because you wanted to classify us. High Executor Nalvex took the central seat. The assessment protocol has existed for 12,000 cycles. It is how we maintain order in the galaxy. Those species worthy of advancement are identified. Those who are not are managed appropriately. And who gave you the right to decide? Wells demanded. We did, Nalvex replied simply. Our technological superiority established our authority. This is the natural order. Wells smiled thinly. Then by your own logic, you should listen carefully to what I'm about to say. He activated a small device and a hologram appeared in the center of the chamber, a detailed schematic of the quantum displacement amplifier. This device was developed by humans using principles we discovered in your technology. It can destabilize matter at the quantum level across vast distances. The prototype destroyed your attack fleet over Earth. The version on our ship now could reduce this entire planet to its component atoms. Murmurs spread through the council as they examined the schematic. You would not, Nalvex said, though, Uncertainty tinged the translation. It would mean your own destruction as well. My crew volunteered for a one-way mission, Wells replied. Every one of us lost someone in your attack, but we're not here for revenge. We're here with an ultimatum. He stepped forward, looking each council member in their alien eyes. The assessment protocol ends today. Earth is off limits. Any species that wishes peaceful contact will be welcomed. Any that comes with hostile intent will cease to exist. This is not a negotiation. This is humanity's message to the galaxy. The council erupted in chittering voices, but Nalvex raised a six-fingered hand for silence. You come here to our homeworld and dictate terms? To demonstrate our sincerity, Wells continued, we will show you what our weapon can do. He activated his communicator. Dr. Hernandez, target the uninhabited moon we designated, 20% power. Through the chamber's massive windows they watched as a beam of energy lanced out from the retribution, striking a small moon orbiting Vorex Prime. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the entire moon began to shimmer, its surface rippling, like water. In a flash of blinding light, it collapsed into itself, leaving nothing but a cloud of dust where a celestial body had once been. Silence fell across the chamber. That was 20% power, Wells said quietly. The full deployment would do the same to your entire planet. We do not want war. We do not want revenge. What we want is recognition and respect. He placed a data crystal on the council table. This contains coordinates for a neutral meeting point in 6 Earth months. Send representatives. We will begin discussions about our place in your galactic community, as equals, not as subjects. Nalvex studied Wells for a long moment, its multifaceted eyes unreadable. Finally, it spoke. In 12,000 cycles, no species has ever responded as yours has. The Council will consider your proposal. Don't consider too long, Wells replied. We'll be watching. As they returned to the retribution, Major Takahashi fell in step beside him. Do you think they'll honor it, sir? Wells watched as the alien city receded behind them. They're arrogant but not stupid. They've ruled through fear because no one ever showed them what real fear is. He turned to face her. They'll come to the meeting, and the galaxy will never be the same. The journey back to Earth would take another 5 months, but as the retribution engaged its quantum drive, leaving the Vorex system behind, Wells felt something he hadn't experienced since the day of the attack: hope. In the observation lounge, he stood alone, watching the stars streak by. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, not as victims, not as subjects, to be assessed, but as a force to be reckoned with. The road ahead would be long and fraught with dangers, but Earth would never again be caught unprepared. The Vorex and the rest of the galaxy now understood a fundamental truth. Attack humanity, and there would be consequences. They had hit Earth without mercy, and now the galaxy knew what that cost. As the retribution hurtled through the quantum void toward home, carrying news that would forever change humanity's place in the cosmos, Wells whispered a promise to the memory of his family and the billions lost. Never again. And throughout the vast expanse of space, that message would echo for generations to come.